Dave here, and I want to welcome you to the inaugural episode of The New You. This channel is geared towards self-improvement and health consciousness. Here we're going to be covering a variety of topics, from diet, fitness, psychology, emotional well-being, and everything in between that makes us our happiest and healthiest selves. Twice a week, we'll provide videos with information and tools for you to make informed decisions for your own health and well-being, along with some vlog entries and some other surprises that we hope you'll find fun. Now that you have an idea of what we are, let me tell you what we are not. We're not here to muddy the water with more bro science. We're not going to jump on the bandwagon of every fad we see. We are not trying to sell you a product. We're also not closed-minded to novel ideas and approaches. But most of all, this is not a brand. It doesn't take much research to see that, if anything, brands are bad for your health. They are big business though. In 2014, the pharmaceutical industry made $826 billion worldwide. In 2015, they made $905 billion. And in 2016, they made $967 billion, $515 billion made in the US alone. The weight loss industry has shown similar profit gains, albeit on a smaller scale. In 2015, they made $64.9 billion from desperate Americans looking for solutions, $66.3 billion in 2016, and in 2017, they're projected to tip the money scales with a whopping $68.1 billion in profits. But with all this investment into health and fitness, the American population must be on track for a healthier future, right? Unfortunately, the data tells quite a different story. In 2007, 33% of men and 36% of women in the United States were classified as obese. That's 1/3 of the American population classified as obese 10 years ago. In 2016, those figures grew to 37.9% of men and 41.1% of women. The gloomy outlook doesn't end at our waistlines either. In 2014, 132 million Americans suffered from a chronic illness, and by the year 2020, that number is on track to be 157 million. Now, I'm not here to make the claim that these brands are directly responsible for these health epidemics, but they do, however, instill a false sense of hope and security in millions and millions of people with preventable and reversible illnesses, often even selling products that either don't work or were never intended for the demographics that they were marketed to. In 2014, the Federal Trade Commission cracked down and charged 4 major weight loss companies for false advertising and fraudulent claims about their products' effectiveness. But it's not only weight loss companies that are subject to scandals. Some of the biggest pharmaceutical companies are perpetually engrossed in legal battles. In 2004, the drug Vioxx was recalled by Merck after the FDA discovered that the drug significantly increased the risk of heart attack and stroke. By the time Vioxx was pulled from pharmacy shelves, it was already linked to 40,000 deaths. Merck knowingly suppressed this information. In 2007, Bristol-Myers Squibb had to pay over $500 million in fines after marketing the drug Abilify for unapproved conditions. Making matters worse, the marketing was targeted towards nursing homes, even though Abilify was known to have life-threatening side effects in dementia patients. More recently, in 2012, Pfizer falsely advertised their drug Celebrex as a safer alternative to the popular anti-inflammatory ibuprofen. The FDA warned Pfizer, as well as their marketer Pharmacia, that these statements were false and misleading. But instead of simply altering their marketing strategy, Pfizer decided to bribe hospital administrators as well as government officials to approve and prescribe their drug. If that's not enough to convince you that these brands have zero interest in your well-being, here's a short list of 2017's pending lawsuits over pharmaceuticals and their extreme side effects. Abilify for compulsive behaviors, eating disorders, and gambling. Fluoroquinolones such as Cipro, Factive, Floxin, Avalox, Levaquin, and Naroxen for causing neuropathy of the hands and feet, as well as aortic aneurysms. Onglyza for pancreatic cancer and heart failure. Proton pump inhibitors such as Nexium, Prilosec, Prevacid, Dexilant, Capodex, and Zegrid have been linked to kidney disease and kidney failure. Testosterone products such as Androgel, Axiron, Biotigel, Delastril, Fortesta, and Striant, just to name a few. Really guys, there's an absurd amount of testosterone products on the market. These drugs have been linked to heart attacks, strokes, and blood clots. And then there's Zofran, a drug used to treat nausea in pregnant women, which cause birth defects. The situation is hauntingly similar to the thalidomide crisis of the early 1960s. But more on that in a future video. Many of the brands that produce and market these drugs are also dealing with a number of legal cases due to allegations of false advertising. Now, this isn't to say that the pharmaceuticals themselves are to blame. Even many of the ones listed could be considered true miracles of modern medicine when used in the appropriate context. But when brands try to widen their profits by widening the context for which their drugs are used, we begin to run into problems. But together, we're going to cut through the murky information stream to find the things we need to truly be our best selves. Truly, a new you.